take a look at the variations on trunk rotation that we have on the Revolution. First, let's start with a basic trunk rotation where the cable system, or the pulley is about even with Amy's shoulders, kind of chest-shoulder level right in there. So, as she comes out, you're going to see the rope is basically parallel to the ground. She's going to sit up nice and straight, which is always critical when you're doing trunk rotation. And with her arms straight out there, she's going to rotate in the trunk. Now, she's not trying to just force the handle around there by using arm muscles and everything else in the world. She is only moving in the trunk. And I'll tell you what you've got to do. You can't be worried about how far you're moving. Some people think, oh, well, I need to be moving this a long ways. Folks, if you have limitations in your trunk, live within those until you progress out of those or away from those. Don't try to force it. Don't try to move fast and yank it and try to get some big motion that's going to end up bothering your back. So just take it easy and take advantage of what you've got. It's plenty for now, okay? So nice trunk rotation. These are not spot reducing exercise. Sorry guys, you're still going to have your love handles at the end of this thing if you're not eating right and doing the other stuff, okay? So here's a version of this that we can manipulate right off the bat. You see, as she starts over here, she doesn't have much resistance. She kind of gets her most resistance right in the center, which is fine. I can also change things. I can have her swivel her hips to a new starting position, even straddling the bench. And then, this is a little bit more advanced because she's starting in the extreme of rotation over here, and then working towards neutral where she loses it. So there's no reason to go all the way over because you can see the cable end up touching her body. It's kind of like a half of the rotation, but this half is loaded a lot harder because of the angle that it's pulling. So this would be a little bit more advanced than the one we just started with. Now if you go back around, Amy, I'll show you how we're going to change things up a little bit. This adjustable arm, I want to show you, we can make some neat little variations. That was on number 5. I can go down to 6 or even more dramatically number 7. I'll go ahead and show you that. And now we're going to sit up straight, but we're going to incorporate a little flexion and extension while we're doing this. So she's going to pull from low to high. And notice how she extends and straightens her back as she comes up. There you go. And then she lets it curl just a little bit as she comes down. That's a great exercise to incorporate the rotation. And I'll tell you who really benefits from this a lot are golfers and people who do a lot of rotation in some of their sports. And it still needs to be slow and controlled, right? But this is just a great exercise that many times doing the strengthening itself will increase your range of motion. Now here's another option. Instead of that low to high, we can go above number 5 to maybe a 4 or number 3. There we go. And now she's going to go from a high down to a low. So she starts in the extended upward position, and as she rotates, she goes into a little bit of a crunch. And we might even be, let's try that. You want to try that from a number 2? Let's just see how far we can go with that. There's number 2. That still works really well. Yep. So you can see she's still doing it all in her trunk, but Amy has tremendous spinal flexibility. You definitely need to modify your motions, your angles, and your positions based upon what's available in you. And you can slowly progress as you improve. With the Revolution's adjustable arm, we have some great standing trunk exercises. Now, how you perform these is of critical importance. You've really got to maintain your posture from a starting position, especially with this straight rotation we're doing here. So watch. Josh is going to grab hold and keep both arms pretty straight there, Josh. There you go. And I've got the setting. This is on number 3, I believe, which is just about even with Josh's shoulder height, pretty close to a chest shoulder height. And you see the rope lined straight up across his arms there. As he pulls, he's lined up with the rope. So the rope is within the plane of motion. And he's not slouching. And one thing you can do here is go ahead and put a little lower extremity movement into this thing. Here you can take advantage, because you're not seated on the bench, you can take advantage of everything that your lower body does in terms of rotation also. So that's not cheating here. We're going to use that. Okay, now, here's a couple variations. If I go up just a couple notches from 3 to about 1, he can start to move downward at a complementary angle. Do you see that? So the rope is angled downward, and he's moving downward also at that same angle. Do a little tiny bit more downward to it also there, Josh. There you go, something like that. So now as we do the diagonals with the rotation, you might notice as he raises up back towards the pulley, he gets a little extension. As he comes down and across, he gets a little tiny bit of spinal flexion. That's pretty neat. Now the other side of that is moving back across 3 towards about a position number 5. Is that what that says, Josh? Something like that? 4. I'll go down 1 more. So there's a number 5. Now we're going to do, starting in a position kind of flexed and rotated, and as we elevate with the diagonal created by the rope, we're going to extend and rotate to the left. So we had the pure flat rotation, we had one that comes down and across, and we had one that comes up and across, and of course we would change sides and go over here with the other adjustable arm and create those same exercises for the other directions of rotation.